I'm doing a big art giveaway when we reach 3K subscribers, so make sure to hit the red button below and subscribe. I believe that everyone can be a voice actor if they have 3 things. 1, the ability to talk. 2, a microphone. And 3, the ability to commit to the bit. While the third is by far the hardest thing to learn how to do, it is something that we can work towards by getting you otherwise ready for a good audition. Hey, hi-ya-ho-ya out there to all my big brothers, sisters, aunties, uncles, and of course, mommies, daddies, siblings, and guardians. It's me, your bite-sized baddie and favorite little brother Mark. I've been doing indie voice acting since I was a teenager, around 15 years old. I'm not represented by any big Anipalexes or Funimations, God rest their soul, but I have been in a few things from cartoons to shorts to even an ad for an energy drink company that will unfortunately never see the light of day even in my visual VO reel because of NDAs, which I am still bitter about because it would have been so cool. On an entirely unrelated note, have a look at this picture of a truck advertisement that jump-scared me for no reason whatsoever. With all that being said, I know how much it hurts to not be chosen for a role you audition for. There are a multitude of reasons that go into choices like that. So, in this video, I'm going to give you a ground-up explanation of auditioning that will hopefully help you just a little bit. As a disclaimer, this is not for people who are on a professional level when it comes to equipment, voice coaching, and mixing. This is intended for people who are complete novices at voice acting, so if I say something that you find absolutely obvious, that's likely the reason. Step 1. Getting ready to record. Warming up is a vital part of delivering a great performance. Just like how your joints feel a little bit stiff and hard to move before you've done any of your stretches in the morning or before a workout, your vocal cords are a muscle that needs a bit of moving before you can get your best voices and highest range. If you know your vocal ranges, such as soprano, alto, tenor, or bass, or even high-pitched, medium-pitched, or low, then you can research on YouTube for your range plus vocal warm-up. If you don't know, there are plenty of fast vocal warm-up videos you can follow along to that will work for just about anyone. The key to a vocal warm-up is to get your tongue, lips, and throat all ready and lubricated for your performance. Don't take that out of context. Many industry voice actors also sing as a way to warm up. Do you have a favorite song? Try singing it a few times before giving your lines a try, and I bet you'll find your voice is much fuller. What to eat or drink is also important when recording. Honestly, I would just not eat anything in the 30 minutes before you record to assure that you don't have any unnecessary smacking sounds from your cheeks or excess mucus and debris in your throat. But if you absolutely have to eat, always stay away from sweets. The sugar makes most people's voice sound haggard and coats your throat in a way that makes it difficult to reach your full range. Similarly, you do not want something super cold that'll constrict your vocal cords, but something too warm may relax them a bit too much for a refined read. You might also wind up with a frog in your throat if you're not careful. Obviously, thicker drinks like milk and cocoa are out, as well as sugary sodas. Astringents like tea also tend to leave your mouth dry and smacky, so my advice is to stick with room temperature water. It may not taste the best, but it will leave you ready to record. What you'll need for a recording session can be pretty minimal when starting out. You just need a microphone and a recording device if you're doing the bare necessities. But it is always better, in my opinion, to have at least a recording box and a pop filter. You can get a nice cheap recording box off Amazon that should come with soundproofing foam and a pop filter, but there are cheaper ways to do it if you spend all of your money on Genshin Impact Temples. A pop filter is a very important tool to keep excess puffs of air from hitting the microphone when you say P, T, B, H, and other sounds that would alert anyone in a 2-yard radius of your halitosis. Luckily, they are very easy to make, and you can fashion one by taking a hanger and stretching 2 layers of thin pantyhose over it. mold the open part of the hanger into a circle, or otherwise make sure it will cover your mic's diaphragm, or the place where your mic picks up the sound, and you're good to go. Just make sure that it's not too thick so it won't muffle your words. Now, for soundproofing, this will get hot, but you can always hide under a blanket while recording to reduce the amount of sound waves that can bounce off of hard surfaces near you. You'll just have to be careful not to move around and make too many fabric shuffling noises. I don't recommend this because the heat can really get to you fast, and the inability to move can really hinder your ability to commit to your acting. But we all start somewhere, and even I had a blanket fort of doom before I could afford my egg cartons. Microphones are another story, as I do think you should invest well in one if you want voice work to be a big part of your life. XLR microphones will give you the highest fidelity, but they are more expensive and require more equipment, such as expensive cables and an audio interface, the thing that will take your audio and put it into your computer or drive, basically. USB mics are more accessible cost-wise, but will never, at a base level, have the depth and fullness of an XLR. Shopping around for your needs and budget is always best. Doing your own research and looking at reviews. But here are my recommendations. For USB mics, I would steer very clear from the Blue Snowball and even the Blue Yeti. The Yeti isn't as bad, but the Snowball, it's just not good. I don't know if they've changed it in the last 10 years, but when I had a Blue Snowball, that thing got really bad really fast. It would hum, it would sound overly metallic. It made all of my performances sound more hollow than what I was giving. And believe me, back then I was not giving the best performances. Instead, consider looking into a Samsung C01U Pro, which retails for around $90 USD, or the Audio-Technica AT2020, which goes for between $90 and $99. Those may seem like very high price points, and they're definitely nothing to sneeze at, but just wait till we get to the XLR prices. I am currently recording on an Audio-Technica AT2020, and it sounds pretty good in my opinion. I do have to treat my audio after I record it, but we'll get there. I have a special hatred in my heart for the Rode brand of microphones, because on film sets they caused many an audio issue with humming and popping if one cord was ever touching another. But voice acting should be less of an issue for that. You might look into the Rode NT1 and AI1 Complete Studio Kit, which goes for around $350 for your mic, pop filter, XLR cables, and audio interface. Having an interface that works with your microphone is just, very important, so this might be an easy all-in-one place to get everything you need. On the topic of bundles, though, you might go for the less expensive Scarlett Solo Studio 3rd Gen option, which sells for about $200 new. I have zero experience with the Scarlett Studio CM25 microphone, but reviews seem fairly good for it. It's advertised for singers, so I should hope the quality is as promised on the box. Finally, I'd suggest considering the Audio-Technica AT2053 XLR mic. I haven't seen any bundles that include an interface, but for $163, you can get a bundle with microphone, cable, gimbal arm, and pop filter. You might match it with the Behringer Euphoria UM2 USB audio interface, but that'll be another $70 on top. You will need an audio interface to use any XLR microphone, however. The most important thing to keep in mind is that when you connect your audio interface to your computer and then your microphone to the audio interface, if connecting by USB, everything will be running off of phantom power and will likely need your most powerful port to make sure everything runs smoothly. Phantom power being the electricity that goes from your USB port into whatever you plug into it. So just make sure that the port is rated for whatever is needed for both audio interface and microphone. If none of those sound appealing, go out and find a cardioid condenser microphone for yourself. Just make sure that you get one that's meant for vocals. Step 2. How to record and boost your audio. Now that you're ready to record, you just need to get to it. There are lots of programs to use for recording and treating your audio, but when you first start out, you're probably not gonna want to drop $200 on one. That's where the freeware Audacity comes in. It's gotten a lot beefier and better over the years, so it's a great program to start out with. There are plenty of user-made plugins that you can get, and even ones you can find on the Audacity official website. However, if you don't use it to its fullest, your audio likely will not sound very good. I'll give you some settings and a quick rundown on screen to use that should get you started on the right track. First of all, make sure your recording sample rate is set between 46 and 48,000 Hertz. The sample rate is very basically how many snapshots you record of your audio that make up the end waveform of your recording, like frames that make up an animation. The higher the sample rate, the more accurately your sound is captured. Next, you're going to want room tone. Room tone is the sound of the room that you record in. No matter how much soundproofing you use, unless you're in a 0 decibel white noise room, there will be some level of background hum whenever you record. Some producers want you to leave in the room tone so that they can clean it as they want, meaning to leave the audio raw, or they may want you to clean it yourself, meaning to treat it. When sampling room tone, click record and then just wait 20 to 30 seconds. Do not move, do not swallow, do not do anything to make extra noise. That includes moving around in your chair or scratching your arm. Of course you can breathe, but try to make it as normal and quiet as you can. You may even consider breathing through your mouth so your nose doesn't whistle. Anything picked up in that 30 seconds will be counted towards the sound that's eventually going to be removed. So if there are any extra shifts or clicks or creaks, the algorithm that matches what waveform to reduce or remove will not give very good results. After you remove your room tone, you can clean it by first highlighting the section of room tone you recorded and then going up to Effects and finding Noise Reduction. Depending on your Audacity version, it may be on its own or in a drop-down titled Noise Removal and Repair. I highly recommend updating to the newest version for the most effects and things from the program, but you do you. Click Get Noise Profile with only the room tone selected, and then highlight all of the audio that you want to be treated. Then go back to noise reduction. My settings that work the best for my audio are with noise reduction at 30, sensitivity at 4, and frequency smoothing at 6. But you might find some other settings that work best for you. Just make sure to copy your timeline before playing with it so that you can redo anything that sounds weird. When your parameters are set, click OK, and your audio should be all cleaned up. I personally do one further step, which is to select all of my audio, go to EQ and filters, and then bass and treble to increase the bass by 4. It makes my USB audio sound fuller and closer to an XLR, though don't misunderstand, it is not at the same level, just a little bit better. Step 3. Now that you're ready and warmed up to record, let's get to work on making a demo reel. A demo reel is a short recording made to show off your range and acting prowess. It's basically your portfolio for voice acting when you don't have any projects under your belt yet. While you definitely can still audition for projects without a demo, having one makes it easier for any casting director, no matter what project size, to know if you could fit anywhere into their production. I've had cases where I auditioned for one character in a project, but the direction I took with my audition wasn't what they were looking for. However, because I sent in my demo, they could say that won't work out, but the voice you used in the third clip here would work well for a different character. That's actually how I was hired to do the voice of a character in a fighting game that's allegedly coming out sometime in the future. All of that to say, it never hurts for you to have an easily accessible place that showcases a bunch of what you find to be your best work. There are many ways to make a demo. The standard is to have it be a short collection of voices that you can do, either by improvising lines to best show them off, or by acting out a line or scene that you enjoy, with no audio in the background, which means no music, no sound effects, no nothing. But some people put music behind them, and some people make them into full scenes. My friend Tony hired someone to write a script for his demo reel to where it sounds like a cool scene backstage before a performance, where he plays everyone as they get ready for the big show. When I remake my demo reel, I kinda wanna do something cool like that. The most important part of a demo is to make it short, concise, and to have your best performances towards the start. Realistically, most people don't listen past the first 30 seconds of a demo, and many professional casting directors won't even open one if it's over a minute and 20 seconds. Keeping your demo as close to 30 to 60 seconds as possible without feeling rushed is your best bet. Make sure it shows off your range, acting ability, and diction as best you can. Step 4, committing to the bit. So this one is a little bit more difficult than any of the other things I've told you about, because every other part of the auditioning process is pretty cut and dry and specific. But being able to commit to the bit is something that you have to be able to do as an actor, and that's not something I can really teach you. It's something that you have to do on your own. If you enjoy doing Dungeons & Dragons campaigns or other types of role-playing like that, it's basically the same thing. You just have to commit to what you are doing. You've gotta give it energy, you know? If you're told to scream like you've just been impaled, going, ooh, ah, or something like that isn't really gonna help. You've gotta put your whole thrussy into it. You've gotta put all of your feelings into what you're doing. You're not acting someone being stabbed, you are being stabbed. And that kind of performance, it might feel cringe, but it's what you gotta do. Content creation at any level is cringe. Acting is cringe. You're gonna have to experience a little bit of ego death and let yourself be cringe if you really want to give the performance that a lot of people are looking for. Step number 5. You're all ready now. All that's left is for you to get out there. But where can you audition for roles? There are lots of places to try, but Casting Call Club is a pretty good place to start. It is a free website that lets you list and audition for roles. You can set up a profile with your demo on the front page, and there's no limit to the number of roles that you can try out for. Voices.com used to be like that years ago, but last I checked, you have to pay to be on there and to list or audition for projects. Never pay anyone to audition. I'm looking you right in the eyes. Don't do it. I do not care your skill level or experience. You could do the most half-assed lines in the world, and I would still tell you not to pay anyone else for the right to audition for a role. It is the person you are auditioning for's privilege that they get to hear you. If someone is saying that they'll only take auditions if people pay them, they're trying to grift off of an artist's desire to share their craft. It is evil, and you should feel ashamed if you've ever charged someone to audition. Another and equally good place to find roles is in niche communities and clubs. I got my first role on Tumblr doing, it's been a while since I tried her voice, Aoi Asahina from SDR2 before the games were even officially localized. It was fun, even if unpaid. Then I found work in Skype groups, and now I'm in places where I can find periodic postings of roles on Discord. Just having your ear to the ground and auditioning for everything you find even remotely interesting is a great way to go about it. Sometimes you can even find IRL clubs and classes on voice acting. Keep an eye out and research what's available in your area. Then there is the hellscape of Twitter, where people post their demos with vocal visualizers under every voice acting post, even when the tweet literally says, "Email me and do not post demos" in the replies. Unfortunately, Twitter is where I've gotten the most roles from finding auditions. It's where I was hired by fellow name-haver LS Mark to be in his cartoon pilot, which is coming out this summer, by the way. And it's where I found a few other smaller roles for my visual VO reel. Ultimately, my best advice is to always shoot your shot. A lot of non-professional project heads cannot hear the difference between an XLR and a USB mic, so long as the audio is treated. And even if the casting call has a voice reference that is out of your range, there's no harm in trying out. Just make sure you submit your auditions in the exact format that is asked of you. Oh, I guess that means I should probably go over a few quick definitions of what people might ask for in an audition role. For example, if someone asks for lines in ABC 1-2-3 style, usually what they mean is they want you to record 3 takes of the entire set of audition lines in order that they appear. So that means you would record line 1, line 2, line 3, and then if you wanted to do another take, you'd do line 1, line 2, line 3 all over again. Some may ask you to do AABBCC, which means to do multiple takes of each line as the lines come. So you do 3 takes of line 1, 3 takes of line 2, 3 takes of line 3, and so on. If you have any questions, you can usually just ask the person who's doing the casting call, and usually they're happy to explain. If they get snippy with you or insult your intelligence, you can still audition, but just bear in mind that it's probably for the best that you don't work with them. Having bad personal relations in small businesses and groups like that is never really a great sign. Now, this isn't really a step, but I do think that it's important. When trying out for everything you see, there's also going to be the necessity of accepting failure. 9 out of 10 times, you will not get the part that you wanted or even a response. It feels bad, but that is normal. How you handle that rejection and even criticism that others might give you determines how things will go. I've seen many an online indie VA get blacklisted because they started harassing a creator or another voice actor who got the role that they wanted in DMs or even publicly in replies. Never be a sore loser or a poor sport. Just pick yourself back up, congratulate the winners, and keep trying. I know that's easier said than done, and after the 10th rejection in a row, it can feel so bad, and you're gonna wanna rant and rave and vent about it. And to be honest, you should. You should vent about your frustrations to your friends, parents, or therapist till you feel a bit better and can figure out where to go next. Just don't do it publicly or on social media, you know? It's a bad look, and people really need to relearn what thoughts should be shared on social media and what thoughts should be best saved for the private vent chat with your friends. Keep going out of spite. Even if no one out there is actually against you, which for the most part, even if you feel otherwise is the case, sometimes doing something to prove a point or with a goal to beat whatever is stopping you in mind is the best way to go. Do your best, which is just the best you can do at this moment. And eventually, your hard work will be rewarded. Hopefully this video can help get you on your way. I can't make any guarantees that you'll make it big or even get a small bit part, but I can say that putting in the hard work and training yourself can be the most rewarding aspect of the entire process. This video was decided on by voting in our Discord server. Make sure to join for the chance to determine what video we make next. Thank you for getting to the end of the video, and thank you so much, as always, to my wondabulicious Patreon supporters. At our brother, sibling, sister tier, we have Viri, Miss Mercuriel, Minnow, Echo Foxtrot, and Ash Valentine. At our mommies, daddies, and guardians tier, we have Mary, Kiryu Makoto, and Kai, mwah, 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 love you. And at our gods, goddesses, and deities tier, we have gods and punks, love you, munches and bunches, Nagi. Your help and support lets me make the videos that you guys want to see, so I really appreciate it. Like the video if you like it. Subscribe. Like I said, we have that art giveaway happening at 3K subscribers, so I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you are too. And I hope you have a scrabdangulous, wonderful day. Bye-bye! There are people home right now. Can I scream?